A 9-year-old girl has been found dead in upstate Ticonderoga, New York, after being reported missing by her father near Lake George. And state police say there are inconsistencies with information provided to investigators by the girl's father.
On the surface, Luciano Follin appeared to be living a life many could only dream of. A successful entrepreneur, a world traveler, and most importantly, a doting father to his only child, 9-year-old Molina. His social media was a carefully curated highlight reel of luxury cars, exotic vacations, and heartwarming moments with the daughter he called the light of his life and his inspiration for everything. Their bond seemed unbreakable. But behind this polished facade, a darker reality was brewing. And on the final day of what was meant to be a magical father-daughter trip, everything unraveled in a truly unimaginable way. This is the story of a vacation that ended in tragedy, a frantic 911 call that was a complete lie, and the shocking secrets that may have driven a father to allegedly murder the very person he claimed to cherish most in the world. Welcome to 247 True Crime Chronicles. I've got a story for you today that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Before we begin, a quick question for our community. Where in the world are you watching this from? I want to see how far our true crime family reaches. Your comments and theories are always welcome, so don't hesitate to join the discussion. If you're new here, know that every story we tell is rooted in real-life events. To help us continue our work, kindly hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss what we uncover next. Let's start the investigation. Our story begins on July 11th, when Luciano and Molina, who lived in Montreal, Canada, crossed the border into the United States. For 10 days, they traveled through New York and Connecticut, their journey chronicled on social media with photos and videos that painted a picture of pure joy. It was the perfect father-daughter trip. But as the vacation drew to a close, a different kind of timeline began to emerge. A timeline marked by a desperate phone call, a desperate lie, and a devastating discovery. On a Saturday night, just as the sun was setting on their final day in the U.S., a frantic Luciano Follin placed a 911 call from a remote highway outside of Lake George, New York. His story was sensational, almost cinematic. He claimed he had pulled over to use the restroom, and in that brief moment, a mysterious white van appeared. Two men, he said, had snatched his daughter from their car and sped away. This was a parent's worst nightmare. Law enforcement took the call seriously, immediately issuing an Amber Alert for Molina. The alert, complete with her photo, was shared across the internet, sending a wave of panic and fear through the community. The search was on, but the story felt off. Something wasn't adding up. As investigators questioned Luciano, his narrative began to crack under pressure. Details shifted, inconsistencies emerged, and the sensational abduction story started to look more and more like a carefully constructed fabrication. The investigators knew they had to find the truth, and they had to do it quickly. The clock was ticking. As police worked tirelessly to unravel Luciano's story, another chilling fact came to light. A few hours before Luciano's desperate 911 call, Molina had made a phone call of her own. She had called her mother in Montreal, telling her they were on their way back home. On the phone, she seemed happy and in good spirits. She showed no signs of distress. This crucial detail placed Molina alive and well in the hours leading up to her father's call, directly contradicting his claim that she was abducted. With Luciano's story falling apart, police shifted their focus from a search for an abductor to a search for a missing child. They began to suspect Luciano himself was the last person to see his daughter alive. Based on their interviews and the inconsistencies in his account, they zeroed in on a specific, remote and wooded area near Ticonderoga, New York, about 45 minutes from where he'd made the 911 call. It was a secluded spot, difficult to access, and the type of place someone might go to hide a terrible secret. The search was a grueling one. Multiple agencies, including New York State Police forest rangers, combed the dense, wooded landscape. And then, the worst fears were confirmed. On a Sunday morning, just before noon, they made a heartbreaking discovery. In a shallow, muddy pond, they found the body of 9-year-old Molina. Her vacation had ended, but her journey home never would. The autopsy later confirmed the tragic cause of death: asphyxiation due to drowning. Luciano Follin's grand deception had been exposed, and he was officially no longer a frantic father seeking his missing child, but a suspect in her murder. He was arrested and charged with second-degree murder and hiding a corpse. The question on everyone's mind was, and remains, a chilling one. Why? Why would a father, who presented such a loving and devoted image to the world, allegedly commit such a horrific act against his own daughter? It's a question that defies all reason. But as the investigation deepened, the public facade Luciano had built so meticulously began to crumble, revealing a life teetering on the brink of collapse. First, there was the custody situation. New York State Police noted in a news conference that the day after Luciano's arrest, Molina was scheduled to be returned to the full custody of her mother in Montreal. Luciano and his estranged wife had been separated since 2019, and while Luciano was granted visitation, including this 10-day vacation, his world had changed from one of equal, joint custody to one where his time with his daughter was limited and court-ordered. This transition, as one family law attorney suggested, can be a source of immense pain and psychological distress for a parent. It can lead to feelings of loss, of no longer being in control, and of a world that is shrinking.
Initial reports from Mr. Fratone of a suspicious white van in the area of the alleged disappearance was proven to be untrue.
Show everybody what Ticonderoga really is. It's just not a resting spot off the side of the road for this young girl. This is a community that is loving, caring, giving, and she's one of us now. And if that's where her soul is to rest, then we will celebrate her life.
Was the pain of returning his daughter so unbearable that it led to a tragic final act of control? But the custody battle was not the only crack in Luciano's perfect world. His glamorous lifestyle was also a complete fabrication. While his social media was filled with videos of luxury cars and pictures from exotic locations, a deeper investigation by news outlets in Montreal revealed a starkly different financial reality. It turned out that Luciano Follin was a defendant in 5 separate lawsuits, all filed that very year. In one particularly telling case, a bank was suing him for a debt of over $83,000. The successful entrepreneur who ran an organic coffee company from Ethiopia was in reality struggling with overwhelming debt. This financial instability, combined with the impending end of his time with Molina, paints a complex and disturbing picture. A person who prides themselves on an image of success and stability might feel a profound sense of failure when that image is threatened. The potential loss of his daughter and the exposure of his financial ruin could have combined to create a perfect storm of desperation. This brings us to the psychological aspect of the case. Experts often point out that social media is a dangerous tool, allowing people to project a false reality. The more a person posts about their perfect life, the more we have to wonder what's really happening behind the scenes. In Luciano's case, his public persona of a jet-setting, wealthy father was so different from the truth that it suggests a deep-seated need to be perceived a certain way. When that perception was threatened, perhaps he was unable to cope with the fall. The story of the white van and the abduction, while a lie, also provides insight. It was not a high-level, premeditated crime. It was a panicked, reactive story, a desperate attempt to create a believable excuse for his daughter's disappearance. This suggests a crime of impulse, a reaction to a situation he couldn't control. The case of Luciano Follin is a chilling reminder of the dangers of appearances. It's a tragic story that leaves us with more questions than answers. It forces us to confront the dark reality that can lurk behind the most perfect-looking lives, and to wonder what pushes a person to the point of no return. Luciano Follin pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. The legal battle is just beginning, and we can only wait for the full truth to emerge. But the facts we do know, pieced together from police statements and investigative reporting, tell a devastating story of a father who allegedly chose to end his daughter's life rather than face the reality of losing her. This story is a tragic reminder that appearances can be deceiving. If you or someone you know is struggling with domestic issues, custody battles, or financial distress, please remember that there is help available. Reaching out to family, friends, or a professional can make a profound difference. Your well-being and safety are paramount. Thank you for watching. If this story has left you with questions, please leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below. We'll be reading and responding to as many as we can. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more true crime content, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next case.